Yay.
We're going to see if we have internet.
I was so sad when I got kicked. I was like, what do I do?
I ended up having to, well, I zoomed from my phone and then I hotspotted. Even the office was down. So it was it was a Comcast outage. So anybody that had Comcast.
I heard it was nationwide.
You know, I've always been convinced that instead of countries worrying about atomic bombs or biological weapons or any of those things, if they could just figure out a way to wipe out your internet, that could be the end of everything, right?
Especially for kids.
Well, they've already been trying to do that.
Oh, have they? Oh, I shouldn't say that out loud then, Armand.
Yes, they have. You're right, Armand.
The Chinese and the Russians both have tried to knock out our internet.
Well, it would definitely change the world.
Maybe for the better.
I don't know. I do not want to go back to being an old school realtor. Have you ever talked to one and heard what it was like when you had to go through the books to find the listings? And
my mom was a realtor with no internet, and they used to have to drive contracts across town and keys to each other, and God, what a mess.
I had a sweet couple. They had no internet. They had no cell phone. They had no technology whatsoever. It was the seniors. And I literally had to print listings for them every day and take them to their house. And I had to tell them, look, I'm going to leave them on your front porch. And then I'm going to leave and call you and tell you they're on your front porch. Cause I couldn't talk to them every night. Cause then you get in there to talk with them. And I would be like 2 hours at their house every night, just trying to, but imagine in this recent market that we were in, right before you even had them printed and delivered, the house would have been under contract. So,
right.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to, there are some things, Melissa, I agree with you on, but I wouldn't think that this would be so enjoyable that way. All right. Well, Brittney's here and she's going to share all kinds of awesome marketing with us today. But before we do that, I just wanted to know, does anybody have a challenge, anything, a win you want to share or a challenge that you want to make sure we go over while we're here?
No, but I would like a minute after we get done. I've got a problem I need to resolve. Get your advice to resolve.
Okay. It's not something that would benefit everybody?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't think that it would, but.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely cover that at the end, Armand.
I've got
I have one. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Jay, go ahead.
No, well, go ahead.
Okay.
Ladies first.
Oh, well, thank you. So I have a client who we put her under contract the beginning of August. It is now the beginning of November. She had money coming to her for a down payment from a family member as a gift. And I think the gift fell apart. So the listing agent and the seller, I assume the listing agent never sounded very friendly and always sounded very mad. And then they gave us an extra month because then my buyer decided she wanted to go through the Louisville Metro Housing Authority to help with down payment assistance. And they were just not being helpful. They weren't coming through. They weren't getting it for her. So we sent a release and termination because the seller did not want to continue at the end of the extension. So no problem. The seller didn't sign it. And over the weekend, the listing agent called me and said, the seller is such a nice man. He really doesn't want to do this. What can he do to help your buyer? So we're back in it. And Louisville Metro finally came through and we're getting all the paperwork to them. So maybe another month, maybe not even that long because we're all done. We're through inspections, appraisals, termite. We're done with everything. We're just ready to close. So don't give up, you all.
Love that.
And if you, most of the people on here I see are in Indy, but if anybody's watching this from Louisville on the recorded version, I have contact information for Louisville Metro Housing Authority. If that's helpful to anybody, just reach out to me.
I love that.
Yeah.
Shelley, you could also send me that and I can add it to the PC library.
Okay.
I love that. But yes, problem solving. I think, sometimes that could be the most stressful or the most stressful part of our job, but sometimes it's the most rewarding as well, right? When you have a big problem and you can solve it and then you get to the other side of that. So that's exciting. All right, Jay, what you got?
Well, hanging in there. That's a good one. I'm glad she went first. See, hanging in there. So it kind of made me think, kind of rethink my question, but hanging in there. I have a listing, not potential, it's a listing. I haven't made it live, none of that stuff yet, with the whole tenant thing in it. So I'm kind of wondering, I'm not stressing about it, but I'm wondering how should I present this thing? Even though it's already there, I couldn't take any pictures. I took 2 pictures. Should I just put it on the BLC and just be like, hey, that's it? I kind of feel like I'm not giving a good service because I can't do realtor kind of stuff with this property. So
Well, you're giving the best service that the seller's allowing you to give. Right? So you need to make sure that your client's happy.
well, that's what I'm saying.
So I would have the conversation with the client first, say, you know what, to be honest, not being able to handle this the way I would normally handle a listing. And so I just want to make sure that you understand where we are in this. So I only have 2 photographs available. And I'm not sure what kind of traction we're going to get with that in the multiple listing service, but we can definitely get it listed for you. I just wanted to make sure, we're on the same page with this. And then that's all you can do.
Okay. Because I'm just kind of like fiddling around with it. I haven't really, I've drawn some of it up on the, had a listing thing. I've kind of played around with it. I'm just letting it.
In the agent to agent comment, well, both in the main listing. In the main listing, you're just going to put that it's tenant occupied. And when's the lease up?
And she hasn't given me that information yet. So it's
well, you really can't. You're going to have to get that information from the seller because that is absolute information that has to be included in a listing.
But all she did tell me that was month to month.
Okay, so the tenant is occupied on a month-to-month basis. But what's the termination? Is it 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? What's the termination? So you need to get a copy of the lease. Nobody's going to want to buy the property without seeing a copy of the lease.
Okay.
Right. So you need to get those things from the seller. I thought maybe you were going to tell me it was the possum that had tenant rights.
I'm after I get everything here straightened up on the desk so I can be prepared for later on. I'm going to go out there and just probably handle it myself, put my boots on and get my stuff, a couple of shovels, bags.
Got a dead possum in the basement of a listing. So that's going to be a great Facebook Live when you show what a wonderful full service agent you are.
Yeah, that will be a great one.
I wouldn't show the possum.
I was going to say, I'd leave the possum out.
Brittney can cover that in marketing. I'm not sure that a dead possum is a good marketing piece here for us. All right, anybody else challenge or win? Yes, Miss Shelby?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, last time we did this, you couldn't hear me, so I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
My buyer, the referral that's moving from Texas, asked me how she would know if it's a good area or not. And I know that I can't necessarily say, so what resources can I give her that would, or can she pose the question as like, would your mom live here or would you live here? And then I can give my personal opinion, not my business.
What I would do is I would ask what her parameters are. So how does she define a good area?
Okay.
Okay. And then you could direct her to crime statistics websites.
Okay.
Right. You could, does she have children? You could direct her to the state school list of whatever I can't remember what they call that, but a state school. So I would start with asking questions, right, Shelby? So help me understand what would make it a good area for you, because a good area for me might be when my daughter and son-in-law bought their house and they moved back from Santa Fe, New Mexico. I put them in Bean Creek, which is just east of Garfield Park, and it is an up and coming area. A little bit rough, maybe not where they wanted to be. But the point of that was they bought the house for $50,000. It's worth $90 now, a year and a half later, because the growth is coming. So a good area could mean all kinds of things, right? So
Can I comment on that, Carla, too?
Yes.
Shelby, I show houses and areas all the time that I wouldn't live in if you paid me $1 million. Well, maybe $1 million, but I wouldn't live there. But people love them. I don't know why they do, but they do. So yeah, it's important to define what good means to them, because it may not mean the same thing to you.
Okay.
So yeah, if anybody ever asked me, would I live somewhere? I'd say, no, I live in my house. I've lived here for 17 years and I don't plan to live anywhere else. I never want to put my personal or my mom's personal or anything. I don't want to put that on anybody else, because we all have our own lenses, right? We all view the world differently, and we have different needs and wants and desires, and we have to figure that out. For me, not a very nice neighborhood wouldn't have any trees. If it doesn't have any trees, that's not a nice neighborhood for me. Just, but I sell plastic houses and little vinyl villages all the time that have no trees, and that's what people want, is no trees. So
Okay.
so yeah, you got to stay away from anything that is, demographic
Subjective.
related.
Okay.
Stay away from that and focus on the neighborhoods. And if it is crime statistics that she's wanting, then just Google that. If whatever county she's looking in, Johnson County, Marion County, whatever county she's looking in, just Google Marion County crime statistics or Johnson County crime statistics or Perry Township crime statistics, and you'll find websites that will be good good things for them to look at if that's what she's concerned with.
Okay.
We don't want to steer anybody. Okay. Awesome. Anybody else challenge? All right. If nobody's else got anything, Brittney, it's all yours. I'm going to turn it over to you. Let me make this so you can share your screen. Welcome back from vacation. She's been in sunny Florida. Look at that glow she's got going on there.
Thank you. How are you all? Good. Great. So a little about me. I've been in real estate for about 6 or 7 years now. I used to work at Keller Williams with the Withrow Group. So fabulous Alyssa Withrow, if you've ever heard of her, she's the team leader at Louisville East. And I had the pleasure of working on her team for about 3 years. And she was just as wonderful then as she is now, if you've ever had the chance to meet her. And while I was on their team, it was still fairly new. And I did marketing and listing coordination for them. So I would input all their listings, write property remarks, a lot of the same things that I know Jessica Riley's group does for, maybe some of you all, or other agents through your brokerage and through the Louisville East brokerage. And I would do marketing for them as well. So that might have looked like monthly mailers, planning client events, farming plans, planning and executing on just agent marketing goals throughout the year, and social media. So I am going to talk to you guys today about using the DISC profile to help through your marketing. So I've got a little page here that I put together. So have you all taken the DISC? Does Keller still do the DISC? Do they still talk about the DISC results?
Absolutely. I think some agents take it along with the KPA and some of the offices, and maybe not in others. If you haven't taken the DISC, you can just Google and find a free one and you can take it. It's always fun.
Yeah. So when I first got hired at Keller Williams, someone sat down with me and they went over my KPA and my DISC results with me. And that was not something anyone had ever done for me before. So kind of helping bring some self-awareness to not just myself, but who I would be marketing my business to was helpful to me to kick it off. And, one of my fears when helping market with the Withrow group is, you hear like, oh, direct mail's dying. I would design a mailer and I'm like, are they just going to throw it in the trash? Like, how do I get people to actually stop and look at our marketing pieces? And, in my own personal context, I'm thinking, okay, well, how would I get my significant other to stop and look at this? Because he is exactly the type of person that would get a marketing piece from me in the mail and pitch it without looking at it. And so I was like, what would make him stop and, and read this and give it his attention? What's kind of, how do I hook him? And I was like, oh, he's really analytical. So for me, in order to get him to look at my mailer without throwing it away, I probably needed to share some kind of statistics on there that would capture his attention. He's a financial analyst, and that's what would interest him. And that kind of had me thinking about, how do we target the various DISC personalities through our marketing across the board, and your branding. And so that's what I want to share with you guys today, is just, if you haven't ever thought about that, could be great for your business. So marketing is the action or business of promoting and selling products or services, including market research and advertising. So as a realtor, when are you marketing to people? Almost all the time. Anytime you're putting something out on social media or having a conversation with someone, or, creating print marketing, you're almost never not marketing yourself in how you present to people. So can you use the DISC to help relate and connect with your potential clients? I think the answer to that is yes. And so if you haven't done the DISC, there are 4 different types here. Someone who we would call like a high D personality is going to be very direct, strong-willed, results-oriented. They're often someone who is making plans and kind of taking charge in a lot of situations, whether that just be in the conversation or, in like a sales situation where, they are planning and executing on how they're going to get your home done. If they are a take ownership kind of person, they may be a high D. High I is going to be someone who's positive and high energy, enthusiastic, and kind of the cheerleader. Your high S person might be someone who is very patient and accommodating. They may be someone that more so caters to a client's need along the way, like when marketing their home. If you're working with maybe an elderly client, this person may be a good fit for them because they may be, more willing to help them through the various parts of the process that may overwhelm someone who might be elderly going through the home selling process. High C would be accurate, analytical, someone who is really more interested in the numbers. What are you going to sell my house for? How much am I going to net from this? What do the comps in the neighborhood say? That may be more that person's personality type. So I don't know if you all have an idea where you are on this scale. Has everyone here taken the DISC? Can you raise your hand if you've taken it? Perfect.
Armand, what are you?
I forget now.
Well, read the list and tell me what you think you are.
I can go back and I can go pull it, but
I would think that you would have a lot of I and a lot of S.
Steadiness is probably more what I am. But
Who else has taken it? Do you know what you are? Shelley, what are you?
So I'm a high I, like all the way to the top of the page. But so I'm going to do something. So excuse me if it's rude, but my things, the D, the S, and the C are all exactly even. And then the I looks like a giant middle finger sticking out. So straight across the board, D, S, and C, and then I is like, whoop.
I love it. Who else? Who else has taken it? Who else knows what they are? Dan?
I had high I and high C.
High I and high C.
Having
Okay.
been an accountant, influence and the analytical side definitely played into that.
Love it. Anybody else?
I took it but didn't see the results. So, but I know I'm like an S and an I, but I don't know high, whatever. I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna let Brittney continue, and I'm gonna pull up one of the free ones and I'll put it in the chat. That way, if you haven't done it before, it's a good thing to do. It's fun and it's really quick to do. So I'll find you a free one.
Perfect. So that the disc profile is definitely something I think could help you if you are trying to connect with various personalities. So depending on how you choose to market, I would try to incorporate some of this throughout the year. And what we used to do on our team is we would, about this time of year, start planning our 2022 marketing calendar for the year, and kind of decide on what pillars of, what marketing pillars do we want to focus on to help grow our business and achieve our goals. So, once you've done your 1 through 5s and your 411s, and, you have an idea of what it is that you're trying to accomplish for the year goal wise, and you're trying to figure out, well, how can I market my business to help achieve these goals that I've set out for myself? Because, again, when you're marketing your business, it's any action of promoting or selling, including, marketing and advertising. And it doesn't even have to be yourself that you're focusing on, it can be statistics and kind of turning the conversation to real estate. However you choose to market your brand to help achieve your goals, I think that this could help you connect with the various people in your audience. So your homework, I would say, if you haven't taken the disc, it'd be great to take it. Would help you probably understand a little bit better, and maybe even kind of think about the people around you. Who is your target market? If you guys have defined who it is that you are trying to market to, think about them and how you can relate your business to them. Because most people, when they're looking for a realtor, they want, sure, they probably like you, but they also want to know what's in it for them. And so making sure that you capitalize on that opportunity to connect with them based on their personality type, having that self-awareness will, I think, help you, secure the deal. So when are you marketing your business? You need to be clear on who it is you're marketing to. So this could be singular, as in like, okay, I have this event that I'm planning, and at this event, I'm marketing to senior real estate clients that are making a transition. If, I believe, Carla, you have your senior real estate specialist, right? Certification.
Yep.
Yes. So if, Carla she may not target to SRES clients all the time, but she may target to them in particular situations. So whether it's kind of creating a plan around that, who are you marketing to? Okay, if they're senior clients, maybe you're not just marketing to them, maybe you're also marketing to their family. Maybe you're, trying to help them figure out how much money are they going to net from this, right? A lot of your senior clients may be trying to decide if they are ready to go on a, like on a limited income, or they may be trying to figure out where can they move to next, or, how much is their home worth and how is that going to get them through this transition? So if you are marketing to someone who's more analytical, those may be questions that they're asking themselves. So thinking through that before you kind of put your message out there could be really helpful. Or it could just be big picture branding. Who do you like working with first-time home buyers? What is it that they might be looking for? They may not have information or tools in their back pocket because this is the first time that they've ever gone through this process. So maybe marketing to someone from more of a, high I or a high S standpoint, so, being patient with them, offering resources, offering just knowledge and various ways of getting to the goal that they want to get to could be helpful to someone who's maybe a high I or high S personality. So thinking through that when you're creating your branding plan for the year could be beneficial for you all. What services are you marketing? Are you clear on what you offer, what sets you apart from other realtors? Do you do concierge style real estate? Are you going to help them stage and prepare their home for market? Are you going to professionally photograph their home? People want to know what's in it for them. So being clear on what's in it for them and how you will do what you do different from another realtor, and catering that to their personality. Where are you visible? If you guys haven't Googled yourself or thought about where you might be visible, I would definitely encourage you to do that. Take a look at your if your profile is private on LinkedIn, take a look at what people can see. If your Facebook is private, but some of your posts might be public, figuring out what people can see. What do you want them to see? Take some time to think about that. If you want to be the neighborhood expert in your neighborhood or another neighborhood that you're maybe choosing to farm, think about how are you visible in that sense. So are you sharing neighborhood statistics? Are you showing what the current market has done, appreciation wise in their neighborhood? That is where you could show your expertise and, where you're visible at, and make sure that you are connecting with, the various personality types. I think, why do you do what you do? Getting clear on your big why. I think that can, if you guys haven't done that yet with Carla or someone else through Keller Williams, talking about your big why, sharing that kind of in like a 1-sentence format. What am I trying to say? You're like your elevator pitch, your one-liner. Why do you do what you do? Putting that on there and making sure that it, people are connecting with that. Someone who is a results-oriented high D personality, they may want to know, how are you going to accomplish what you set out to do? Give me a checklist. Give me a bullet pointed list. Show me, how you intend to step through this process and get me to my goal. So those are just kind of some questions I think to ask yourself when you are planning all your marketing for the year and trying to figure out, again, how you can kind of incorporate these different personalities into that. So I've already touched on some of these lightly, but what are some ways, do any of you farm? Like farm a neighborhood?
So everybody you can raise your hand in the bottom. How many of you guys have farming a neighborhood on your GPS for 2022? Like Shelby does, who else? Well, a few people. Go ahead, Brittany. I know we have a few people.
Yeah.
There were like 6 people on Saturday, and I think 5 of the 6 had identified that they were doing farming a neighborhood.
Okay. So when I was on the Withrow group, we did a lot of farming. We worked our sphere, and another pillar of our business was growing that.
Did you guys lose Brittany's sound?
Yeah,
Brittany, we lost your sound.
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can.
You can hear me now?
I
Yes.
can hear you now.
Okay. I'm not sure what happened. I'm sorry, guys. So what was the last thing you all heard?
That you were farming and you're doing your database. So you were growing your farm.
Yeah. So at the Withrow group, we all, the goal on that team at the time was to continue growing our sphere within the area that we served. So that team, they tended to serve a lot of the people in the Oldham County community in Louisville, and about 70% of their business on average was through their sphere. And, so we wanted to maintain that because that was just where we liked to be. And so we chose to farm certain neighborhoods or communities in the Oldham County area. That was where they had kids in school. It was a natural place for them to be. A lot of them were born and raised in that area. And so we each selected a neighborhood to farm. And during that time, we would send out monthly mailers. So at the beginning of the year, when we were setting out our marketing plan, we would go ahead and name the theme for each 12 of those mailers. So April would have been, like a March Madness mailer, and May might have been just a fun Derby themed mailer, but March might have been, are you thinking about selling? Are you getting ready to sell? The spring market's already here. Here's how much homes in your neighborhood have appreciated over the last 12 months. And we would share marketing statistics that we would pull from the MLS on mailers like that and send them out. And it was an attention getter for people who were maybe just kind of starting to think about what they were going to do for their home that year. Were they going to have to move? Any other marketing pieces, I would encourage you to try to be clear on who it is you're targeting to, whether you're advertising in a monthly magazine or a neighborhood magazine. You could share a neighborhood feature if you've sold a home in that neighborhood. That may target to more of your high I, high S type of personalities. Hearing that someone that or someone that they know in their neighborhood sold with you and had a successful experience during it, where maybe you netted them an extra 30 grand over list price or whatever it is. If you were able to just line up the closings and make it easy for them, so they just had to move in one day, and whatever your story is, finding a way to advertise it in various scenarios. It's really kind of what I'm trying to get at. So if it's farming, those are kind of some ideas for you. What are some ways you market to your personal sphere? So I kind of want to hear from you guys. How do you market to your sphere?
Brittney, I do, I'm sorry. I do social media, of course. And then also I mail cards for various holidays, sometimes random holidays, and then sometimes the usual. So it's currently what I'm doing.
Are you planning to do more of that in 2022?
I'm sorry, am I what?
Are you planning to do more of that in 2022?
Oh yeah, of
Okay,
course.
awesome. Anyone else?
Yeah, mainly Facebook and the D2 calls. I plan on doing more in the way of cards and that type of thing as part of our PC coaching. So,
Okay. So lead generation calls and social media, as you and Shelley both mentioned, are some of the items that I had on my list as well. I think, if you're planning out your social media posts or for the month or for the week, maybe pick a theme and work through it that way. If you can share neighborhood statistics or regional statistics, or maybe just year over year statistics, that could be interesting to people. Whether you're jumping on your calls and you have something to share with them, like, hey, just wanted to let you know that the homes in your neighborhood specifically appreciated $32,000 on average over the last year. That kind of could give you something to talk about and get those conversations going. You can put that on your social media posts, or, you know, you may be able to do like client highlights, client success stories, or share your client testimonials on social media. Make it a goal to share one of those a month or two of those a month, and try to reach those people that, you know, may not be as interested in statistics, but want to hear that you took great care of this client and you clearly care because you've connected with them and you know about them. Know their
Uh-oh, we lost you again. Your sound is going in and out. I don't know what's up with your microphone.
Is it
There you
still-
are. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, there you are.
Okay, good. I'm sorry, you all. I'm not sure what's going on. It doesn't show
Hey,
me.
we've had a day of technological wonders. So I have a question real quick. So what do you guys think about people that you know are a high D, right? You know they're a high D, and all your accountant friends, right? If you were to tag them in your database that they are likely a high D, then you would know that when you call them, you might lead with, you know, the Metropolitan Indianapolis Board of Realtors said on Tuesday that home sale prices were up a certain percentage or whatever. If you could have a statistic ready for them, then that might connect with them, right? So if you are segmenting your database and you know you've got a group of people that are really like this, that would be a thing to do. Another thing that I have done in the past when I'm working with a client, I ask them the question, you know, I ask them, I can't remember. I'll have to send you guys. It's in the PC library, but I'll send it to you when we get all done today. Cause there were like 4 questions that I asked. Would people say that you're more like, and I let them just tell me what their disc is just based on their natural thing. So I knew how to work with them. What happens if you have a husband that is a high D, right? And a wife that is an S or an I? You're going to have to change how you talk to them, right? So that's a really important thing. And same with marketing. So I love this. Okay, sorry, I interrupted.
No, that's great. So when you're calling on your sphere, when you're doing your DTD2 calls, right? It's DTD2.
Mhm.
Okay, it's been a while since I've done that. I need to do that again. That was good. When you're making those calls, you know, knowing who you're talking to before you get on the phone, you know, can maybe help you find more success in those conversations. When you're marketing yourself to unmet leads, you know, that may be through your social media posts as well. You may keep your, I don't know if you guys have business Facebook pages and personal Facebook pages. Some people combine them. Some people leave them separate. If you have a business page, I would leave, you know, obviously everything there is going to be public, but if you're sharing any of those business posts to your personal page to try to connect with your sphere, you know, the people that you already know, leaving those posts public, you know, so that if anyone else stumbles across you, they may see that. They may see that, oh, this person, they give me exact numbers on what's happening in this neighborhood, or, you know, hey, my mom is, you know, we need to move her closer to us for her health. Look at how much, you know, that person cared during that story that they shared about how they moved someone else's mom to be closer to them, you know. So figuring out how you can connect with those people. You can do that even through your listing descriptions. The office that I'm at now, I often hear that our listing descriptions read like a storybook. When I am writing listing descriptions, I try to tell the story that is not being told in the data. So I'll incorporate square footage for, you know, the occasional person who may read the description that might be more interested in how big is that garage, how big is that unfinished basement, how many unfinished square feet is available down there, you know, for me to turn into my man cave, because, you know, I need somewhere to watch the game when I move, you know, that's high on my must-have list. So making sure that you're kind of connecting with those people. You can incorporate that throughout your listing descriptions. And a lot of that can be geared towards your sellers as well. I think listing descriptions are oftentimes more for sellers than they are for buyers anyway. So if your seller is an analytical person, or, you know, if you want to help just showcase what life is like living in that home, you know, you might write that description to flow more like a story, more like, you know, instead of 3 beds, 3 baths, 1,200 square feet, you know, you may say, you know, the glass front door lets light flood through the foyer, you know, through the foyer and into the open floor plan in the mornings. Whatever it is, you know, that you're trying to showcase through that home. I think you can do that and connect with various people reading it. Even your referrals, you know, you may have an agent that just wants to know, hey, how much business has that realtor done? Do they sell a lot of homes? I'm looking for an agent to refer this client to in the area. You know, and all they do is share their feel-good stories, but do they actually sell, you know, a lot of homes? If you've got a referral that cares about that, sharing that information on your social media pages, branding yourself, branding your business, you know, that could be a great place to do that. Share your statistics, share your feel-good stories, a story from your perspective, even, you know, like, I just helped this client close and I loved working with them. And this was why. This was why we just connected. We had a great time. I was, you know, able to help them, you know, get what they needed to get done, accomplished. And I learned a lot from it. And, you know, I grew as an agent through working with this client. You know, if you're sharing stories like that, those may be how you could even connect with potential referrals and agents in other markets as well. Because at the end of the day, we're all human, you know, so sometimes number of houses doesn't matter as much as someone who is going to diligently take care and handhold your client, you know, through the process. So being able to showcase yourself and, you know, the different, I guess, like the variations of your business and how you work across your marketing platforms is a goal to think about when you're planning your 2022 calendar. So that's kind of it. That's all I've really got, but I hope it gives you guys some good food for thought. Does anyone have any questions or thoughts to share?
So I love this. On Saturday, we were talking about creating systems around your lead generation. So if you haven't had a chance to watch the workshop video on Saturday, that and this pair very well together, because as you're putting together your system and your plans around your lead generation, can you make sure that you are speaking to each one of these groups of people? The disc covers people, this is everyone. Everyone falls into one or more of these 4 categories. This is all inclusive, includes everyone. Most people have, like Shelly said, you know, she's one dominant and then the rest of them are all even up. Sometimes you'll find that 2 are very similar and 2 are not so much, but you have to figure out how to speak to people. Not everybody is going to take well to statistics and numbers, but some people aren't going to take you seriously if you don't include statistics and numbers, right? So how are you going to include all 4 of these people in your plan for your lead generation for 2022? So let's talk about that. We got 15 minutes. Let's brainstorm on this for a little bit. How would you create, see what, I see, I don't have the survey on here from the other day. What is your, everybody tell me really quick, what is your number one on your GPS? What is your number one way? What's your number one lead generation source? Jay? Sphere. Armand? Armand might be driving or something. Okay, Shelly, number 1.
Carla, I'll be right.
Either Boomtown or networking.
Boomtown. What'd you say, Brittany?
I'll be right back. I gotta adjust my plug, my
Oh,
battery.
okay. Dan, what's number one?
Number one is actually going to be Sphere.
Sphere, Shelby,
Sphere.
Sphere, Melissa,
Referrals.
referrals, Champel,
Spears.
Sphere, okay, Takesha,
Sphere.
Sphere, Joe, Joe is farming. He's at work. Nakia is social media. She's at work. Mike,
Farming, open houses.
farming and open houses. Okay. Amber, oh, Dominique, number one way of lead generation. Okay, so think on that now. You've each picked what it is. So let's say Sphere. A lot of you guys were Sphere. If Sphere is it, what kind of messaging can you send out that shows a direct, results-oriented type of message? What do they want to hear from you?
For Sphere,
Other
I think-
successes you've had.
Your successes. What were you going to say, Shelby?
Yeah, I was going to say that I think Sphere wants to hear that you've been doing well.
Yeah, they want to hear your successes. And where do they get the idea of your successes? This is what we talk about, Facebook Lives. Social media, right? Exactly, Shelby. So if you're out showing a house, now don't define success. How are you going to define success? Right? Is success have to be closings?
No.
What could be success that's not a closing?
Getting a listing or
I got a
just get
listing. Yeah,
or
I
get a
was
new
showing a
buyer.
house. If I'm brand new and I'm not even showing a house, if I'm just previewing a house, right? Success is doing your activities. Success is being in the business. Success is something that they can see that you're doing, right? So figure that out. How am I going to show that I have success? So some of your messaging to your sphere, your farm, all of that needs to be results oriented. Okay. So now influence, right? Somebody that's a high I, high positive energy, optimistic, enthusiastic, right? They're your cheerleaders, right? When you call them, this is your DTD2 opportunity. When you call somebody that's a high I on the phone, what do you want to ask them? What is the number one thing you can ask them that feeds their needs? Would it be for their health? Right? You know, how can I ask you a favor? I'm hoping that you can help me, right? I'm really going to be needing some referrals this next year. Do you know anybody that you could send my way that might need my help? And will you keep your ear out, right? Now you've just fed a high I, what they need, right? So what does an S need to hear from you?
How much you gonna help them?
That you want to help them and how easy it is, right? When an S calls you and tells you they're thinking about selling their house, but they're afraid because they think it might be just really traumatic, and a lot of you just say, oh no, they want to hear your stories of when it went really well, right? When it was really smooth. And then, you know, you're going to have your people that are going to want your numbers, right? They want to know the numbers. Those are the people that want to know what the market statistics are. So when you set your schedule, when you're setting your plan for your lead generation and you're setting your calendar for next year, make sure you're covering all of these bases. Because what's your instinct going to be to cover?
Your own bases.
Who you are. Absolutely. So your instinct that's going to be the easy one for you. Whatever is you naturally, that's your easy one. That's the person you're going to speak to the easiest. Right? Then you're going to figure out what your lowest is, and that's the one you're going to have to work the hardest at. Did you guys find the links in the chat? If you guys found, does everybody have the links in the chat? I gave you two different ones. One is a Tony Robbins, and then the second one said that you don't have to give them your email address. The Tony Robbins one, if you do that, then you're going to start getting emails from Tony Robbins. you know, if it's free, it's not really free, right? But you pick one of those two, do your disc, and then send it to me. Let me know what you are. It'll be interesting for us to talk about at your next coaching. Thank you, Brittany. This was awesome. This was a perfect segue into where we are right now, what we're working on. So has everybody had a chance to listen to the workshop from Saturday and started thinking about your systems around your lead generation? So 2 weeks ago, Dustin came and gave us a system around open houses, right? System around our open house lead generation. So we know exactly if we're going to have lead generation, if we're going to have open houses, our lead generation, we know exactly what we need to do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Every week in your 12-week email, I send you a system around Sphere, right? That's the DTDs. That's Monday, we make the call. Tuesday, we make the call. We send text message. That's the system. So all of you can either adopt those the way they are, or you can create your own system. But what's important is that you have a system around all three of your lead generation buckets. So that's what we want to be working on. Now that we have our GPS and our 411 in place, we need to get our systems in place so that we can have the best 22 possible. Awesome. All right. What questions you got for Brittany or anything else that we can help you with today? No. South office, Northeast office. I think we have a commercial panel today. I'm not sure what Louisville is doing. And I think the West office is going, you have a MIBOR meeting, I think. West Side MIBOR meeting today. So if you're not going to the West Side MIBOR meeting and you want to hop on and learn about commercial, you can get there at KW Training My Way. Awesome. All right. If anybody needs needs me, you know where I am at 5. You guys are awful quiet today. You worry me when you're quiet.
I got a question, but it's nothing to do with the DISC program.
That's okay. Ask away. Armand does too, and I'm not leaving you, Armand. I'm here.
Okay, so I know we use Title for our closings and stuff like that, right? Title company.
Title Alliance. You can use them. You
Title
can use any
Alliance.
title company you want. That's just my favorite.
So I feel like I don't know the difference between using a title company and a closer.
Well, you have to have a title company. A title company has to issue the title policy, right?
Mhm.
If you don't have a title company, you're not getting title insurance. A closer
Okay.
is just somebody that the title company hires to do the paperwork, to help get the paperwork signed.
Okay. So I could use Title Alliance and still have my own closer.
Well, if you need to know, Title Alliance will hire a closer. If you have someone that you prefer, you could talk to Christina at Title Alliance and see if she could work that out.
Okay.
So who picks the title company?
That's determined in the purchase agreement. So my recommendation is always unless the listing agent has put in the agent-to-agent comments that they've pre-ordered title, I always want to choose the title company, because anytime I end up with a title company that is not of my choosing, I'm sorry. Something goes wrong, I end up with more work to do. And I have a relationship with Title Alliance, and I know they're going to take really good care of me. They're going to problem solve. So I am going to pick the title company that I have a relationship with, but I'm not going to let my client lose a deal over the title company. So if the seller then counters back that they want to choose the title company, I let it go.
So is there a fee that the title company, that the closer charges the title company, or vice versa?
Yes. Yes, that's how the closing agent gets paid, is through the title company. It's part of the
Okay.
closing fees.
Okay.
They should, any closer should have a relationship with a title company. They can't close without having a title company relationship. Unless you're in Kentucky, and then it's Ohio, then it's attorney based and everything's different in Kentucky. I have to qualify that.
Somebody asked me that question or said something to me about that, and I was like, well, that's why we got a title company. And it was like, well, no, a title company hires the closer. And I was like, no, they don't.
The title company hires a closer. They
Got it.
might be a staff person or it might be somebody that they do on an independent basis. Joni's not on here, but Joni's been doing closings for title.
Yeah,
companies.
and I was going to talk to Johnny about that too, but I was just wondering.
You don't have to choose though. The title company chooses.
Okay, somebody else had said something about it like that. And I said, well, I choose my own title company. She's like, yeah, but you can also choose your own closer to do certain things, to be the closer. And I was like,
No.
that's 2 different jobs.
Who told you that?
A neighbor.
Oh, okay. Well, somebody who thinks they're an expert.
So
Can a lender choose the title company?
No, either the buyer or seller chooses the title company.
Oh, well, I just spoke with a lender yesterday and I said some in regards to the title company, and his response was, we choose the title company. We already have one.
Well, they may
And I
have
was-
somebody they prefer, but the seller may not agree. So the lender, it's part of the purchase agreement. If you go back and look at the purchase agreement, can't tell you where it is in the purchase agreement, but the purchase agreement is the.
Oh, I don't
contract.
have one. I haven't done a purchase agreement. She hasn't found a property, but she went through to get pre-approved yesterday, and they called me, and then they
Awesome.
said they choose it.
Well, they may want to. That's what they're telling you, is that they want to choose, but they may not get to choose. If the seller is going to choose, that's going to be contractually based.
Okay.
So yeah, you might go in, it might be time for you, Champel, if you're working with a buyer and you're getting that close, it's probably a good time for you to practice a purchase agreement. In the
Okay.
PC library, there's a folder that says videos on preparing Indiana Indiana forms. And there is a video in there that walks you through a purchase agreement. And
Mhm.
also you'll find on the contracts classes at noon on Wednesdays, they do purchase agreements 1 week a month. So those would be 2 really good things for you to do. All right, we got a couple minutes before we need to leave for the sales call. Armand, what can I help you with? You're muted.
It had to do with the other coaching company.
Oh, okay. All right, well, you hang out and we'll let everybody go and then we'll chat about it.
Okay,
Okay, Brittany, thank you so much. I will see you on Thursday.
Thank you. See you Thursday. Bye, everyone.
All right, guys, go hop on to your sales call, and don't forget I'm around on 5 if you need me. All right, Armand, what can I help you with? Oh, you're muted again. We'll get that right.
the other company now, I got rid of them, or I told them I canceled.
Uh-huh.
And the guy at the time says, well, I can do that right now. Now I get a email message that I signed a 12-month contract. Actually, I signed a 13-month contract.
Oh,
And
my.
that I've got to pay the difference. I'm at they say month 7. I think I'm a little further along. I think I'm at least 8 months, if not 9 months into it. But
Do you have a copy of the contract that you signed?
no, they never sent me a copy.
Well, I would definitely make sure you actually have that, and then I would look and see what the cancellation clause is in there.
Okay,
That doesn't seem very nice.
now, because it's like 600 and something a month. So,
Oh my gosh.
if it's another 6 months, it's $3,000, close
That's
to $3,000.
$3,600. Yeah. Armand, I would have definitely asked for a copy of it.
Yeah.
And after you
Alright.
get a copy of it, if you want to share it with me, I'm happy to walk you through it. I'm not an attorney, but I've worked for one for a while. I can read a document.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I definitely asked for a copy.
Okay. Thanks.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.